Parliament has passed the electronic transfer levy bill into law, despite a walkout by the minority in protest against the passage of the bill. The minority had complained that it had been taken by surprise by the unexpected consideration of the 1.5% levy. Citi News' Ni Ayikwe Okain has more.
From 10 a.m. on Tuesday, the Finance Minister, Ken Oforiatta, was cited in Parliament with a high number of the members of Parliament present in the House. The minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, then raised concerns about the enlistment of the electronic transfer levy on the order paper of Parliament because, according to the minority, it was not captured within the business statement for the week.
Every other Friday, we have said that never take us by surprise, because, Mr. Speaker, Parliament cannot be when I conveniently have my numbers, then business can go on. It cannot be. And we will not accept that culture. So when you did not have numbers, you were hesitant. You won't come before the House. Now that you think that you have some reasonable numbers, then you say, go to the business of item 27. Mr. Speaker, you are guardian of our standing orders. And that guardian standing order or on business statement every other week, it is supposed to be presented so that we know what business we are to conduct.
Despite his surprise, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, granted that the motion be moved by the Finance Minister.
The proceeds shall be used to tackle the seemingly intractable and hydra-headed challenges of high youth unemployment, inadequate and poor fiscal and digital infrastructure, including in particular roads, rising public debt, and a diminishing entrepreneurship culture, while maintaining and sustaining the flagship programs. Government has also decided to reduce the rate of the levy from 1.75% of the transfer to 1.5% of the transfer. The coverage of the levy with respect to transfers from bank accounts of individuals has also been clarified as bank transfers on an instant pay digital platform or application originating from a bank account belonging to an individual subject to a daily threshold to be determined by the Minister. Mr. Speaker, at the consideration stage, I'll be bringing the necessary amendments to reflect these changes. Mr. Speaker, further to this, and to ensure accountability, government shall, as part of the media review and annual budget statement, provide a statement showing the quantum of levy collected and the purposes for which it has been applied.
The motion was debated on by both sides of the House.
Today is a very sad day. If the President is listening, today there is a rallying cry from the people of Ghana for him to save us our pesos in our pocket. And earlier the President will call all his troops that are gathered here, including the Minister of Finance, to go and do the other difficult business in his office and spare us this e-levy, the better it is for our country.
What happened to the can-do spirit of Ghanaians? Previously, many of our tax or revenue measures were being influenced greatly by government partners without considering the rigidities in our own economy. But this is a homegrown tax measure which we believe will go a long way after having considered other equally important things that we need to consider in the economy. We believe that if this revenue measure is allowed to, is passed and implemented, it will go a long way to help us address certain issues that have come up as a result of the global crisis and domestic issues as well. We are looking at this tax, among other things, will help us, one, close the infrastructure gap, two, help us acquire some skills and knowledge and capital for the youth, and also address high debt levels as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the financial sector bailout.
During the second reading of the bill, the minority staged a walkout as a protest against the passage of the bill.
Our economy is tottering at the precipice of bankruptcy, with debt at 351 billion, 81.5% of it. Yet we are told that e-levy is a panacea to solving every economic and social problem of this country. Debt service alone, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Finance will require 37.5 billion into 2022. How useful and how helpful can a 6 billion be? So, Mr. Speaker, this side, we don't support e-levy. We will not support e-levy. Count us out of it. They can proceed with whatever business they want to do. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, put the question. My colleagues are in the chamber. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues are in the chamber. I invite you to put the question now. Put the question now. They're in the chamber.
Am I, Honorable Majority Leader, am I to understand that you are foregoing your submission?
Yes, and what you are here, put the question.
All right. Honorable members, the Majority Leader has adopted what has already been submitted, and so I proceed to put the question. Those in favor of the adoption of the report of the committee in support of the second reading of the Electronic Transaction Levy Bill 2021, say aye. Those against, say no.
The bill was moved to the third stage for amendment considerations and subsequently approved by the Speaker in the absence of the minority.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
An act to impose a levy to be known as the Electronic Transfer Levy on electronic transfers to enhance revenue mobilization by broadening the tax base and to provide for related matters.
Honorable members, the Electronic Transfer Levy Bill 2021 duly read the third time and passed.
Speaking to journalists after proceedings, the Majority Leader, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, says the successful implementation of the levy would enable the government to generate adequate revenue for infrastructural projects, create job opportunities, and stabilize the country's debt stock.
You heard the Speaker speak to, usually when bills are passed by Parliament, we go through to ensure that the comments, the I's and the T's have been crossed, and so on and so forth. I guess we can spend tomorrow, today because of the match, I'm not sure, that's more committee can meet. And maybe after the President's address tomorrow, the space will be found for it to be done. So I guess by the close of the week, it will be ready for the President's assent. Government or the Ghanaian state now want to own a stake in this, have some money to develop our economy. Would any person who is patriotic say to us that no, don't do it, allow them to take the money to develop their economies? I don't want you to introduce any law that will compel Ghanaians to pay to develop our countries. Would any patriotic person say that?
Addressing the media, the minority also announced plans to seek legal redress over what it describes as the illegitimate approval of the e-levy bill.
What Parliament is purported to have done, led by the majority caucus with less than 137 members, only amount to a charade of approving a so-called e-levy and subjecting it to second reading, consideration, procedural amendment, and third reading. We simply walk out to disable them from having, to quote the words of the Supreme Court, a voting quorum. They are simply and were simply less than 137. At least I'm using 137 because conspicuously everybody in the world and Ghana know the Honorable Adjoa Safo was not present.
Despite the minority's opposition to the Electronic Transfer Levy Bill, it has been passed by the House. The minority says it will seek legal redress at the court over this action. Meanwhile, the majority has also indicated that the bill is likely to be sent to the President for his assent by the end of this week. Reporting from Parliament, my name is Ni Ayikwe Okain for Citi News.